The Seattle Supersonics climbed to the top of the NBA a year ago because they played together. Wednesday night, they opened defense of that crown against Portland in the Kingdom. And again, it was the Sonics' togetherness. John Johnson hits downtown Freddie Brown, who finds Gus Williams working the baseline, and the Sonics build a lead. Then the Portland Trailblazers, behind Jack Ramsey, and an unknown by the name of Billy Ray Bates, climb right back into the thick of action. Bates came off Ramsey's bench to toss in 29 points, and here he is, keying the fast break and going to the open man, Cal the Nat, and the Blazers are only back by 4. But in the end, it's too much of the Wizard. Gus Williams with 35, and the Sonics roll in Game 1, beating back the Blazers 120-110. And now tonight from the Portland Memorial Coliseum, we'll have Game 2. It's the Supersonics and the Blazers. From the sold-out Portland Memorial Coliseum, it's the Trailblazers against the Seattle Supersonics. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger, and welcome to Game 2 of the mini-series. The stage is set. Portland must win to send this series to a third game. If not, Seattle plays Milwaukee on Sunday. What else happened tonight? A lot of developments in the NBA playoffs. Let's take a look. Philadelphia eliminated Washington in 2 straight as Julius Erving scored 31. And so on Sunday, Atlanta will be playing Philadelphia in the series opener, and CBS will be there. It'll be the first game of our doubleheader. San Antonio stayed alive as George Gervin rebounded with 44 points. They blow down Houston in a tough game, 106-101. Third game of that series Sunday night in Houston. And in the other action, Kansas City is still alive, 106-96. But the key development there is the fact that Truck Robinson injured his left knee. He will not play in the showdown game Sunday afternoon. And though it's a pleasure again tonight to be working with Bill Russell. Bill, you know, Mount St. Helens is close by. They sent you this conehead cap.
That's just what I need in this place.
What about the Blazers here tonight now? What have they got to do to stay in this series against Seattle?
Well, first of all, they got to play a little better defense. But most importantly of all, they got to rebound a lot better. But with all this noise, maybe they will.
Have you got an example of their rebounding in Game 1 so you can show us?
Now, this is the kind of stuff they're going to have to stop. They made them take a bad shot, but there are 3 Sonics on the boards there. They can't let that happen because if they're going to be out-rebounded about 15 rebounds, there's no way for them to win.
What about some of the significant matchups that we've got here tonight?
Well, the matchups would appear to be even, but they're not because the Sonics are so much stronger in the front court. This is one place where their power is really effective. Now, the key guy for Portland might be Jim Brewer coming off the bench because he and Kermit Washington are the only guys that can match the Sonics in hitting the boards hard, and that's where the game's going to be won or lost, on the boards.
How about the crowd here tonight? We got 12,666, and believe me, they are ready. Now, I mentioned Billy Ray Bates. He unloaded with 29 points coming off the bench. He'll start tonight, and a short time ago, I had a chance to talk to the new Portland star. By the way, don't you know who Dennis Johnson is?
Yes, I know the guy. I heard of him.
Don't you know how good he is defensively? You're not supposed to be getting off at 29 on him.
Well, you know, I just come out here, you know, and take my open shots and, you know, look for the good shot and look to pass off. And, you know, I just got those 29 points by playing team ball, and, you know, I was wide open.
Billy Ray, you're going so good in Portland. Look at this. The ministers now are making their sermons about you on Sunday. Rock of Ages, Billy Ray. Shoot a jump shot, fade away. Get a slammer, that away. Fire home a three-point play. Rock of Ages, Billy Ray. We all hope you're here to stay. Are you indeed here to stay?
Yes, I hope so. I'm going to give it all I got, you know, show the people what I can do. And, you know, I like the system, and I hope I'm here to stay.
So the delightful young man who was in the Continental Basketball Association with the Maine Lumberjacks. Now, Dennis Johnson. Would he like to play Bates one-on-one tonight? That's the question that my man Bill Russell put to DJ a short time ago.
Would you like to guard him?
I'm sure I'm going to have my turn at him tonight. I like to guard anybody, though, as they come on the floor. And if he's my weight, then I'll pick him up. If not, someone else will. I like the challenge. I love the challenge, matter of fact. So I'll be out there playing. give my 100%, just I think he will.
All right, one last question I want to ask you now. In the last game, he got 26 points. Were you guarding, or was that a team effort?
Team effort. No, well.
A team effort indeed. The starting lineups tonight for the defending NBA champions. Shelton will be back. John Johnson, Sigma, Williams, and Dennis Johnson. And for the Portland Trail Blazers, who must win, it'll be Washington, Matt, Owen, Brewer, and the legend Billy Ray Bates. Our officials for tonight's showdown game: Jake O'Donnell on the left, Wally Rooney on the right, and Hugh Hollins in the middle. He will be the alternate. He'll sit over there with the timer. Jake, wearing number 11, will toss it up, and we'll be underway. Bill Russell. Tip controlled by the champions. DJ hits Williams. And a great block, Bates. And it goes over to the Blazers. Hermit Washington. Calvin Nat. Ron Brewer comes down the baseline.
Now, it's far more important for Portland to get off to a good start than it is for Seattle, because they're at home and they're going to have to get a good start to try to discourage Seattle.
JJ is short. Nat is off to Bates. Inside Bates, and Nat taps. Sigma rebounds. Dennis Johnson controls. Comes around JJ.
I think for the Portland Trail Blazers, the guy that's going to have to do a job for him on the starting lineup is going to have to be Tom Owens, because if he lets Tippman's manhandle him, Portland's going to have a real problem.
That was a marvelous shot, Bill, by Gus Williams. The shot clock down at 5, the crowd roaring, and he just rose in the air and hit it, and now there's a foul against Gus at the other end.
Well, Gus is the key to the Seattle offense, because what he does is he goes down and gets those shots off either early or late. Doesn't make any difference to him. And what happens, the other guys don't have to work as hard because he's so offensive-minded and so effective.
Here he is, cheating back like he does so well, and he gets the champions' first 2 field goals. They break away 4-2.
And what happens is not having to work so hard on offense, they can dig in and work hard on defense.
Brewer is 10. Owens comes out and goes to Kermit Washington. Battle one in and out, and John Johnson's in the middle.
That is not the shot you want. A big strong guy like Kermit Washington shooting a 20-footer. You want him inside.
So the guards, DJ and Gus, who teamed for 55 in Seattle on Wednesday, have got the Sonics' first 6 here, and they break on top 6-2 against Portland. They give Brewer the left. Nat with a strong offensive rebound, and Shelton intimidated him. Williams breaking on the left wing. 8 points for the guards.
At this point, Portland is not making a good transition from offense to defense. Because they're standing around offensively, they're not making a good transition.
We've got a timeout here, just underway in the first period. It has been a pleasure for CBS Sports to televise the Masters for 25 straight years now. And even if you're not a golf fan, be there next Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The best tournament of them all, the Masters. Kermit Washington finds Nat at the top, shades to the left, and here's Bates. Portland needs some offense now. Gus is out on top of him. They must stick close with him because he is a marvelous shooter. I should tell you about Billy Ray Bates. He actually had previous tryouts with the Houston Rockets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Then he went to the CBA, played with the Maine Lumberjacks, and that Continental League has turned out a lot of players now making it. Nat defensively with the steal. Bates brings it up, wearing number 12. He's starting because Dave Twardzik is out with a hand injury. Ron Brewer with that jumper. JJ's going to go deep, and Washington bouts it, but here's Shelton. Free ball whistle. Knapp fouled Shelton. Bates out with Williams. Shelton goes low to Dennis Johnson. And on the turnover, they throw it to Owens. It's 8-4. Sonics lead the Blazers. Nat puts it on the floor and has to send it back. It's off Brewer's leg. Run down in the corner by Bates. Nat puts a move on Sigma.
Now with the team that Portland has, they haven't been together enough as a team to really work their plays very well. So they play a lot more one-on-one. This can be good, it can be bad, it depends. But the thing is that what you have is a lot of streaks. You have good streaks, but then when you have a bad streak, it's a very bad streak.
Sigma missing, Shelton out there, and Knapp rebounds. John Johnson alone on the left side, and Bates quickly comes down with a jumper. Off, J.J. stolen Bates. High, free ball. Dennis Johnson with Gus Williams ahead of him. Nat is back on defense, and DJ goes the length.
That was a great move by Dennis Johnson. What he did is he kept going to make the defensive man make a commitment. If he doesn't, just keep going.
10-6, Sonics over the Blazers. Bates on the penetration, through the foul, chance for a three-pointer. Billy made a fine move to his left that time.
Well, now, he's a fine offensive player. I think that if he had any weaknesses, it would be defensively, because he's a good offensive player. He's strong, and he's not afraid of anybody or anything. That's obvious by the way he plays. He's a big, strong guy, too.
Out of Kentucky State, the same school that turned Elmore Smith, the 7-foot center, into the NBA a few years ago. It is 10-8. Sonics lead it by 2 on the strength of shooting by their guards. 6 by Gus and 4 by DJ, the defending world champions. Sigma short. Blazers can tie it on Kermit Washington's rebound. Remember in game 1, they were out-rebounded by 15. Knapp from the perimeter has tied it at 10.
You know, in other years with different teams, Jack Ramsey, I think he should have got out for 3 weeks if he took a shot like that.
Traveling. We're going to have a timeout here in Portland. 6 minutes and 43 seconds to go. And the stage is set. To stay alive, the Trailblazers must win. If the Sonics win, they play Milwaukee Sunday in our CBS doubleheader game. In that 10-point Seattle win in game 1, you can see the difference in rebounding, particularly offensive rebounds, 23-12 Sonics. Free throws, Sonics shot 45-20 in the 4th period. But Bill, rebounding is critical here tonight. Do you see a difference as far as the Blazers are concerned?
Well, they're getting most of their rebounds from their forward. They're going to have to get their center rebounding too, because Sigma is a good rebounder. He's banging around in there. Plus he's playing pretty good defense. But the thing is that their center is going to have to hit the boards. And the reason he's going to hit the boards, not so much that he gets the rebound, but he takes up some space in there. So that Seattle can't get a rebound and just throw it out so easy.
Paxson checks in for the Blazers. Jack Sigma was fouled by Ron Brewer in the backcourt, and Bates goes out to a nice round of applause here from the sellout crowd in Portland.
Now that was a psychological move by Jack Ramsey starting Billy Ray Bates, hoping that he would be so hopped up and get the rest of the guys so hopped up they could get off to a good start. It didn't work out quite as well, but they got right back into it. So that so far, the idea of starting him has worked.
So Jack Sigma, as you just saw on your screen, a man who has never missed a game since coming to the Sonics, and he's been in 39 playoff games also in 2 years. And of course, he was the middleman, and some felt even the MVP in last year's championship victory over the Washington Bullets. The Bullets tonight eliminated by Philadelphia 2 in a row, and the Sonics go on, leading the Blazers by a game. Portland did not handle pressure well in game 1, and Seattle went to it, at least in a token sense that time. Brewer is way off with that shot, and J.J. runs it down, and here's Shelton. Into the middle, and Dennis. Paxson is back. Williams on the left. Knocked away by Paxson, but there is a foul. Dennis Johnson is assessed the personal.
You know, he got hit on the hand on the ball, but the hand is part of the ball. And so what he tried to do is recover, which a lot of good players do when they make a mistake or feel they made a mistake. They try to get the ball back, and a lot of times it results in a backcourt foul.
Sonics are ahead by 2 on the strength of Jack Sikma's free throws, and he's the only Sonic other than a guard to have a point now on the scoreboard. 12-11 Sonics by 1, and the Wizard brings it up with Billy Ray Bates watching alongside Bobby Gross, the veteran who started on Jack Ramsey's championship team here 3 years ago, and what to many Portland fans now seems like an eternity. John Johnson short, Kermit Washington muscles the rebound, and here's Paxson, the rookie from Dayton, number 4. Comes around Kermit, into Tom Owens. Sikma's with him. John Johnson rebound, and Gus yanks it away from Ron Brewer. And the Wizard breaks away with 8 points in the first period.
What happens is Gus is so fast, players are scared to challenge him when he's coming on one-on-one. But he's the kind of player that if you don't challenge him, he'll wear you out.
It is so nice, Bill Russell, to have another guard like a Dennis Johnson who's so good defensively and rebounding, and you can do the things offensively that Gus can, as Tom Owens powered inside and Shelton fouled it.
Well, the key to this club, the Seattle Supersonics, what makes it so good, is that their different skills complement each other. In other words, they don't all do the same things. They all do little different things, but it also, these things that they do complement the other guy's game.
The man who's been carrying the heaviest load in Oregon the last couple of years, the center who replaced Bill Walton. 14-13 Sonics. 5 minutes, first period. A game the Blazers must win or they are out of the NBA playoffs. Shelton is in low. The Sonics are quickly back, regrouping on defense. Blazers at the perimeter. Owens goes one-on-one Sikma. JJ gives him one shot. Williams breaking on that left wing. Paxson right with him. Inside, good defensive play by Kermit. Sikma's got it back, and here's Gus inside to JJ.
Ball never touched the floor. That's where he's supposed to do it.
Paxson gets inside Gus, dishes off to Owens, who comes down the baseline, and Shelton gives them one shot this time. JJ's got a man inside. He saw him out of the corner of his eye, sealed off. Here's Dennis. And those guards now total 14 points here in the first period. 18 total for the team. They go up by 5, and strong Jim Brewer will check in, and Billy Ray Bates will be back for Jack Ramsey. Shot clock inside of 10, and Nat, excellent shooter, not bashful, just a rookie. And as a matter of fact, he was the top scoring rookie behind Larry Bird of the Celtics and Bill Cartwright of the New York Knicks. JJ penetrates. Paxson with control. They can pull to within a point. Comes down the baseline. Good move on Sikma, and it was Nat on the other side.
I think they're getting ready to set up John Johnson.
Shelton comes out high. Sikma maneuvers. And Owens was on him that time, and there is a foul call. Now watch Paxson come down the baseline. It was really the key because it drew Sikma over. And Nat was in position on this side all alone. But that's because Paxson Drew Sigma. I want to update the story on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the Los Angeles Lakers get ready to play either Phoenix or Kansas City Tuesday night in the Los Angeles Forum. You may have read that Kareem has been bothered by migraine headaches. In checking with the doctors today, he was examined by a neurologist in Los Angeles, and Kareem has decided to undergo acupuncture treatment that has helped him in the past. This year, it has not relieved the intense pain. Now, doctors with the Lakers do not want to use drugs because it might slow him up the weeks ahead, of course, with the intensity of the playoffs. How bad is it? Well, according to Kareem, I feel like the alien was inside my head trying to get out my eyes, and it has bothered him tremendously the last 10 days, but hopefully the acupuncture treatment will work and Kareem will be back at full strength Tuesday night. In case you did not hear, Kansas City evened that series up with Phoenix. Game 3 Sunday, and the Suns are without Truck Robinson, lost because of a knee injury for Sunday's game at least. A big blow. Jim Brewer, 52, muscular young man Bill Russell spoke about at the top of the show is in. So too is Bobby Gross. 30 going down the middle, and there's Brewer.
Look what I found. Now, what Portland is going to have to do to stay in this game is they're going to have to make the transition game better. Now, what do I mean by transition? From offense to defense, it's not enough that you turn around and run back. You must run back ready to play.
JJ with that marvelous behind-the-back pass going into Dennis, and Paxson was over.
Now, this is what the Trailblazers are going to have to do also. Now, Brewer's moving around, so he's not easy to screen, and he found something there.
Williams is short, and Bates rebounds. So we have Gross, Washington, Brewer, Bates, and Gross for the runner is just a touch short. Loose ball out of bounds, Blazers.
Now, one thing I've noticed about the Trailblazers, although they read in the middle of this game, one of the things I've noticed about them is that they have missed the open man about 8 times already tonight. That could have been an easy basket. Because they're not used to playing with each other, they don't know where the guys are going to be and when they're going to be at the place they should be.
Bates turned it over on the travel. The Sonics will bring it up. They lead at 2019 with 1:46 to go, and Wally Walker checking in for the Sonics, with Jack Ramsey protesting that traveling call to Rooney. John Johnson will sit down. Wally Walker was impressive in game 1 off Lenny's bench. He scored 8 points, and he had 3 offensive rebounds. Williams penetrates. 10 points for the Wizard, who scored 35 in game 1, and who will be a free agent at the end of the season, but who told me before the game, all things being relatively equal, he wants to stay in Seattle. Shelton is off now to Gus. Loses it this time, and it's Paxson. Hits Bates in the middle. Brewer's on the right. Brewer with a pass across court to Paxson. Walker, defensive rebound, nobody's back. And Williams unselfishly goes to Dennis Johnson. He could have gone in for an easy layup, but that time both Sonic guards had broken free.
Well, that's the way it is on the good teams. The guys, says, hey, you take this one. Besides, if I give it to you, I don't have to run all the way down.
Those great teams that Bill Russell played on in Boston. The Celtics, the last team to repeat as world champions, something the Sonics are trying to do in this decade. Bates is off, and Brewer muscles an offensive rebound, and Gross is short. Sigma goes to Williams. It's 24-19. The champions ahead. Steal. Brewer back to Bates, the man who got it free, and here comes Gross. Bill Williams is off to a marvelous start. 5 of 7, and he just lurks back when they're down on defense, and you would think that the Blazers would assign somebody. They just missed the alley-oop that time to Dennis at the end of the first period. And I want to tell you that Mr. Paxson's shot was on the money. About half a foot longer, and he'd have had it. So the end of the first period, and the NBA on CBS will continue after these messages from your local stations. 2 years ago, that Seattle team on the left-hand side of your screen lost a 7th game in the World Championship Series to Washington. Look at the lineup. Webster is gone. A year ago, over on the right-hand side, they win it. Shelton is in the lineup, and Sigma has switched to center. But take a look at the turnover here in Portland. 3 years ago when they win it, that team on the left, Lucas, Gross, Walton, Hollins, and Davis. And here tonight, Nat, Washington, Owens, Brewer, and Bates.
That's why it's so hard to repeat, Brent. If you have a good team, and people forget how many close games you win. And so the chemistry is very delicate. And one or two changes that you think maybe you kind of get a better player throws the balance off. That's one of the reasons it's so hard to repeat.
Rookie Bailey, out of Rutgers, has checked in for the Sonics. Take a look at some of the first quarter numbers. Now he will wear number 20.
And I noticed that he's the first substitute at the strong forward instead of Paul Silas, which is a sign of changing.
Sigma facing the basket, comes over Brewer. Right back to Jack, who will go to Walker. Walker, it's his first field goal of the game. And it is 26-21.
Now, if this game is going to be broken open at all, it'll be broken open defensively and rebounding. Little things like that, they start to accumulate in that, like Zach Sigma getting that extra rebound, getting another shot like that, and over a period of 7 or 8 minutes, that adds up, and it really breaks the game open.
So Bailey contributes a steal, and that set up this play for the Sonics. We go now to a pattern, and DJ from the perimeter. Big Brew with the rebound, off now to Calvin Nat. Gross is on his left. Nat has been hot outside. That one spun out, and there's a loose ball foul underneath as Bates had contact with Dennis Johnson.
Now, the difference between that shot that Calvin Nat just took and some of the shots that Gus Williams takes is that is part of the Seattle offense. They play that way. When Calvin Nat comes down and takes that kind of shot, that is not the way Jack Ramsey's teams play. So consequently, what is good for Seattle is not good for Portland.
The Blazers with Brewer in control and trailing by 5. Bring it down. Ron Brewer. And here's Bobby Gross, who was fouled, coming up on Wally Walker, and because he was in the act of shooting, Gross will step up to the free throw line. Gross out of Long Beach actually had signed with Seattle University initially and then transferred after Bucky Buckwalter left that school. I was very sorry to see, Bill, in the paper that Seattle is going to give up major sports. It cannot afford the program up there. Is that correct? Did I read that right?
Yes. Well, they hadn't really been competitive in terms of getting fans for a few years. And so they figured cost more than it was worth.
DJ, number 24. Gee, I remember the O'Brien twins, Elgin Baylor. Walker moves it over now to Dennis. Bailey, being fronted by Nat, was going to go in behind him and go backdoor. Spins away. DJ regains, fakes Gross and shoots, and he got the bounce.
You know, you wonder sometimes, how do these guys always come up with the lucky bounce? If you're working hard, you always get the lucky bounce.
Bates and Dennis with a rebound. Walker's ahead of him. Brewer on DJ. Sends it back now to Bailey, and here's downtown Freddie Brown. He also will become a free agent at the end of that season. Comes around, Walker misses outside. Tommy Lagarde off his hands, but he's got it on a runner inside. Good left-handed pass. Dennis was fouled as he came up.
Now here's Bailey trying to get position in there, and Nat's trying to front him. And he got it, but he didn't get the shot off too well. Because when you front a guy, you've got to get help from your teammates. Now Dennis kept his eye on the ball here.
Though we've got a timeout.
Jack Ramsey said you can't let a team out-rebound you like we did, expect to win. And he is absolutely right there, I can tell you. They got out-rebounded the first game of this series by 15. Now, Portland came back within 4 points, but they were never really in that game. You've got to stay somewhere close on the boards, because if teams get 2 or 3 shots, they don't have to play that well.
Speaking of teams that repeat, and back to those Boston Celtics, Bill Russell, of course, you also had Seth Sanders, Hondo Havlicek, Bailey Howell, Sam Jones, Don Nelson, and Emmett Bryant was on the last team to repeat as an NBA champion. Came out of DePaul, fine guard. T.R. Dunn, number 23, is checked into the backcourt for Portland. Calvin Nat now moves it over to Jim Brewer. Jim moves to Bobby Gross, and the Sonics close off that middle well, and Walker does a marvelous job on defense. Here's Freddie Brown now, looking for the open man. He'll settle for Bailey alongside of him. Bailey shot, and there's Walker digging back inside. Chance for the three-pointer, and Wally Walker's impressive here the last couple of games.
He got the long rebound there, and that's what happens when you don't screen out as well as you should. There are a lot of rebounds because the guys are going in to try to get the rebound. You should screen out at least 4 feet away from the basket so that the long rebounds, you still can get them. Portland's find themselves under the basket too much. So all the long rebounds Seattle is getting.
And the defending champions have built a 10-point lead here. And if they win it, they'll play Milwaukee. Dunn is fouled, coming up on Freddie Brown. If they win, the Sonics with Jack Sikma and Gus Williams there on his left and rookie Vinnie Johnson from Baylor will open on Sunday in the Kingdome against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, either way, if the Blazers win here tonight and force a Game 3 on Sunday, or if the Sonics open up against Milwaukee, that will be our doubleheader game here on CBS. We will also be covering Kansas City, Phoenix, and our first game should be a dandy. Philadelphia and Atlanta in the Spectrum in Philadelphia. They start a 7-game series. If you're wondering where's Hot Rod, he's getting ready to work that game with Gary Bender. What a war that's going to be, Bill. Atlanta and Philadelphia.
I tell you, whoever comes out of that ahead, they're going to know they win a series.
Won't they, though? Hubie Brown's tough Hawks. So Lagarde is fouled by Tom Owens as he tried to slip inside and come down the baseline. And that is 3 fouls on Owens. Brown comes out. Gets around Dunn. Little fade away. Loose underneath. Walker touched it and knocked it out of bounds. It'll go to the Blazers. So Lenny Wilkins in control and appearing very calm here, Bill.
He told me before the game that the game up in Seattle, he was never any doubt in his mind about who's going to win that. They know they can beat this team, and they're not really too concerned about him, I don't think.
Now the Nat hit that turnaround. Speaking of Paul Silas, he'll be checking in, and when he does, he'll keep adding to that impressive total of playoff appearances. This will be number 150 for Paul Silas. As young Tommy Lagarde goes to work and Kermit Washington keeps him sealed. 2 on the shot clock when he fired it off. Brewer sends it back to Nat. DJ takes Nat, who goes to the turnaround, is short. And here's Dennis. He'll send it back to Freddie. They move to the perimeter inside of 10 seconds on the shot clock. Nat watching Wally Walker. DJ. And Nat is left there to rebound. Dunn to the attack court for Jack Ramsey. And Ron Brewer skies with that shot. 6 for Brewer.
Seattle is off tempo now. They're not playing very well together. This combination has got to get their timing down. They don't have it down right now, and so they're giving Portland a chance to get back in the game. This is the ebb and flow of a game. When you make substitutes between fatigue and rhythm, things happen.
Dennis Johnson with a strong offensive rebound. The things you have to do in that situation to end it, Bill Russell.
Well, you need a guy like Dennis who can get you over those rough spots.
And Brewer has warmed to the occasion.
That's why that's what makes guys stars, is the fact that they're able to come through like this. That's keeping your eye on the ball.
6:15 to go now, 35-31. I had mentioned the milestone for that man right there. Playoff game number 150 ties him with Don Nelson for 6th place in NBA history. Let's see, Paul could move ahead of Jerry West at 153, Sam Jones at 154, Wilt Chamberlain at 160, Bill Russell at 165, and John Havlicek at 172. Fred Brown wanted Walker underneath.
Portland is not playing a very physical game because there are things happening. The guys are going inside here. They're not afraid of getting hit. And that's one part of the game, especially the way that Seattle plays, is that they lack a lot of contact.
Nat sends it over to T.R. Dunn. He got Brown in the air and worked the baseline for the hoop. 37-33, a 4-point Sonic lead. Brown drops it into Jack Sikma, facing up with that deadly shot of his.
You know, they've played each other, I think, 6 times in the regular season. And Owen still acts like that's a surprise every time he sees that shot.
Owen scoring at the other end with DJ watching. As Gus put it down, T.R. Dunn fouled it.
You know, you can get tired just watching Gus, the way he works to get his shots. But, you know, a lot of people think that all Gus does is run down and shoot the ball. He works very, very hard without the ball.
Now, one of the
man
reasons
that loves to shoot.
Why the Sonics, Bill, shot 45 free throws in that first game is the fact they got the Blazers into penalty trouble early, and they did it here again with 4:43 to go. Blazers over the limit, and the Sonics with only 2 team fouls and a couple to give.
Now, in changing lineups like Trailblazers have done even this year, where you get hurt is timing on defense. And this is why you get in foul trouble, because you cannot guard these players as good as they are one-on-one, one defensive man against one offensive man, because they're too good for that. So you have to have help. And so not having help, these guys make a lot of fouls that they wouldn't have to foul if they were getting help.
And the man who is away here tonight for the Blazers is Ron Brewer. Looking real good on that jump shot. Sonics get it into the Wizard. And a rebound by Washington is off now to Brewer. And Brewer feels it. Comes inside. Short that time, loose. Scooped up. Here's the Wizard coming back. T.R. Dunn is there. Yes, it's Freddie.
Great pass by Gus Williams, I'm sorry. That's a Freudian slip.
Silas sealing up Owens, waiting for Kermit to come inside. Nat from the perimeter. Williams gets underneath, loose, out of bounds, and it goes over to the Blazers.
Now here's that great pass right there. Now the key was the fact that Fred Brown kept moving, because he knew that Gus would get the ball to him some kind of way. And that's what makes fast breaks work, is that you got to know and have confidence in your teammates.
Wally Walker came out on Nat and fouled him. 3 team fouls now on the Sonics. And we're going to have a timeout with 3:15 to go in the second. 43-39, Sonics over the Blazers. So at halftime, we'll show you some highlights from the first game of the mini-series. In case you did not hear, Philadelphia eliminated Washington tonight, 112-104. We'll see Caldwell Jones turning in a great effort at halftime. San Antonio got even with Houston, 106-101. Likewise, Kansas City with Phoenix, 106-96. And highlights of the first game of all those series coming up at halftime. Nat coming up with a jump shot, a little short of everything. Loose ball foul underneath, says Jake O'Donnell.
This game will be won or lost under the boards. The big guys from Portland are going to have to get in there and mix it up.
And the big guy was mixing it up. First foul on Silas. Shelton returns, and Wally Walker goes out. Freddie Brown is out, and Dennis Johnson is in. So up front right now, a ton of muscle for Lenny Wilkins. Silas, Shelton, Sigma, Blazers go outside to the penalty. Nat has it 4 out there, and he's got a total of 15 points right now as they pull to within 2.
The shot that he's taking and making, he's going to have to hit over 50%. If not, they'll be in so much trouble because that is not a good shot to get the transition from offense to defense.
Owens picking up his 4th foul. And one that hurts right now. Jim Brewer quickly replaces Owens, who leaves with the 4 fouls. And your mind immediately turns to the very end of the Portland bench. There's a man in civilian clothes, Michael Thompson, who has not played this season because of a broken leg, right there next to Twardzik. He could be the center of the Blazers' future, but he has absolutely no help tonight.
The situation with Jim Brewer coming in for Tom Owens does not necessarily hurt Portland, because he's a big, rough guy that doesn't mind mixing it up. And in order to play Seattle, you have to be able to mix it up. You have to be willing to mix it up, not just able. You have to be willing to mix it up.
Sigma missing his second. 2:20 to go here in the second period. And here's Ron Brewer. Short as he got inside and cleaned up by Jim Brewer, just as Bill Russell pointed out. Formerly with the Cleveland Cavaliers, drafted by Bill Fitch out of Minnesota, played high school at Proviso, a suburb of Chicago, and Jack Sigma responds as he has so often. Jack Sigma is playing with a swollen spot underneath the left eye. Took an elbow in game 1. Brewer double teamed, open man's done, left alone. And quickly the Sonics come back. It's a 1-point game. Nat is there with Shelton. Lonnie's jumper's on the money.
Now see, Nat was right there closing off to stop the drive, but Lonnie Shelton has a bad knee. And if you're going to play him, you should go up on him and make him drive. Make him use that knee.
The subtle ways of a defensive genius. And it's Kermit, but he loses it back now to Dennis. Washington had popped out defensively. DJ pulls up on T.R. Dunn. Off to Silas, who goes to the Wizard. Not this time, and Dunn is off at the rebound. Brewer's ahead of him. Kermit's on the left. Dunn gets inside. Nat is there.
That was a great play because Dennis Johnson was there to block it. And he made Dennis commit to the shot, and he made a great pass.
Brewer and a foul call. He had come in behind Jack Sigma, reached over the top. A foul call which does not make 12,666 very happy at all, but Lenny will take it.
Theoretically, Portland will wait and play for the last shot. He still has 2 other chances. That's a 3 for 2. They're in a permanent situation. But with this particular Portland team, they may not wait down to the last shot. They may get early or they may not get off at all.
And they're in the penalty, and here is the third. So Nat with 17 points and 7 rebounds. Using it to the Sonics' advantage, it's a 3-point lead by the champions, who will go home Sunday afternoon regardless. It'll be either Game 3 Portland or Game 1 Milwaukee. And I imagine the Bucks right now are watching with a great deal of interest. Brewer runs it down, and DJ snuffs it at the buzzer.
get it off.
Showing you why he is Bill Russell's favorite guard. Dennis Johnson went right to the ball that time, and so at the end of the first half, Seattle leads Portland by 3, 50-47. Bill, I keep hearing, it's almost a cliche, the intensity of the playoffs, the way they dig in, it's a second season, different basketball. Is it really that different? Come on now.
It is totally different, Brent. You have to remember, in the game of basketball, this is where the professionals' image as a winner or loser is developed, in the playoffs. Because here you have head-to-head confrontations where everything starts out equal. You get a chance to concentrate on the guys that you're playing against, and you either win or lose it. And this is where, as I said, guys build their reputations as winners or losers.
Now, the reputation, I know how much you cared about winning. Did the players today care that much?
Yes. Yes. What happens is the more guys on a team that care makes that a winning team. And the guys that are concerned about the individual statistics or salaries are the guys that a lot of guys will have reputations that are really unearned because they don't contribute to winning games. Because in order to win, you have to be willing to sacrifice and be out of position to do some of the things you'd like to do in order to win.
Now, in listening to you in the first half, I get the feeling that you feel Seattle can do the things you have to do to win, that you're going to be surprised if Portland pulls this out.
No, they're at home, and they have a chance of winning. But Seattle is a better team because they do more things, and they are really tough where it counts, and that's in the trenches or under the boards. You know, Brent, under the boards, it's not just a matter of being under there, but willing to bump heads. I know that, not that I'm a prime example, but in the 13 years that I played, I acquired 30 stitches in my face rebounding.
Pretty good to me, big fella.
Hey, it was an improvement.
All right, halftime continues. We've got the champions ahead by 3, and we'll be back with the second half in just a moment. So we are back, and we hope you're enjoying the action tonight as we get the NBA playoffs underway. Now, this afternoon, Bill and I took the cassette of the first game out, and I ran over the start of the third period a couple of times because I felt it was the difference. The Sonics started putting on pressure in the backcourt, forced some turnovers. Let's see how the Blazers here respond. They did not handle the ball well in the second half, particularly in the third quarter of game 1. Great muscle by Kermit Washington. Foul this time as he rose in the air against Big Lonnie Shelton.
Kermit Washington is willing to mix it up. You know, it's one of, as I said in the earlier telecast in a different game, that he's one of only 8 players, I think, that averaged 20 points and 20 rebounds a game in his college career.
That's 3 fouls on Shelton, too, as you see the halftime numbers. One that doesn't appear perhaps is the most important. Tom Owens in foul trouble, did not have a single rebound, and is now watching from Jack Ramsey's bench because of 4 personnel. So Brewer, Washington, and Knapp. And Calvin Knapp was an excellent shooter in the first half of this game. Sigma short, and it goes to Jim Brewer. They move it now to Ron Brewer coming down inside, and Dennis Johnson fouled him. And checking Calvin Knapp's stats, he was 8 of 13. Brewer, meanwhile, was 5 of 11 as they carried the offensive load for Ramsey with 27 points.
Now that foul situation, the Dennis Johnson fouling Brewer, was set up by the rebound by the other Brewer and getting the ball down fast before the Sonic defense had a chance to set up.
Missing a free throw that would have tied it. Here's John Johnson, led the Sonics in assists. Underrated small forward. There is that shot. Bill, what can you do with that turnaround? Just move up as tight as you can and get a hand in his face?
Well, with a guy like Jack Sigma with that shot, you've got to get up all the way up on him on the baseline side so that if he decides to put the ball on the floor and drive, that you can get help.
Tapped up and in by Jimmy Brewer, and now Brew has scored 6, and the Blazers are within 1 against the defending champions, Seattle Supersonics. Sigma from the other side going to the glass, and Jack Ramsey yelling he traveled before he fired. Billy Ray Bates comes around a Brewer screen, goes to the jump shot.
Now, Billy Ray Bates was not a physical factor in the first half, but he can be, because he's the type of guy, he can shoot you into the game, but he can also shoot you out.
JJ over to Gus Williams, goes back to DJ, and man in the passing lane. Bates back quickly now to the attack, and the Trailblazers have gone ahead.
And that play was set up by good defense.
Shelton moves down the baseline, and Sigma patiently waited. Washington will help out against that pressure. So they're using a forward here tonight. Jack Ramsey having worked on that in practice the last couple of days, having the forward coming to the midcourt line whenever there's defensive pressure by the Sonics. Knapp putting it down, foul calls Shelton, and also
that's a
John
young man. That's a young man that's not afraid of mixing it up. Now, this is a great play here. Good drop over pass. Right there.
Timeout. 9 minutes to go in the third. It's 56-55 Sonics. Big sports weekend starting tonight with the NBA on CBS. Jack Sigma and the world champion Seattle Supersonics leading the Portland Trailblazers by a point, but Calvin Knapp, the young man who came from the New Jersey Nets, can tie it right here. He was expensive. He cost the Blazers Maurice Lucas and 2 #1 draft choices. But he appears to be worth it tonight. He scored 18 in a do-or-die game, and because of that, we're knotted. 9 minutes to go in the third, and an NBA doubleheader Sunday on CBS will start with Atlanta at Philadelphia. Should be a dandy. JJ moves it over to Dennis. Bates out on him. Sigma stands, and he's so patient, Bill, with that shot.
Well, the key to him getting that shot off is timing. He doesn't jump very high with it. He holds the ball behind his head to give him distance, and he's very patient with it. He times it so that when the defensive man, if he jumps, when he's down, or he tries to shoot before he can get up in the air.
On the turnover, it'll go to the Sonics. 17 points for Sigma. And for Bates, that was his second personal. Ramsey, not happy with the call. He'll wait for the official to get a little bit closer. In underneath, DJ traveled. It goes over to the Blazers, who can tie it. And again, the forward coming into the backcourt. Sonics show just token pressure and then fall back.
The Sonics use the press not necessarily to steal the ball, but when they do it to disrupt the other team and to throw their timing off. So they'll take a shot not when they want to take it.
Triple teaming Calvin Knapp. He's turned it over to Gus Williams and the Sonics.
Although that time they stole the ball with it.
Come on, see the play and make the call.
Who's ahead? Williams at the top. Goes to Sigma on a bounce pass to Dennis. In quickly to John Johnson. Back to DJ. Ball movement of a champion even though the shot wasn't there. DJ comes back and will have a jump ball with Dennis and Bates.
Now that's an example of how games are won. He lost the ball. He got up. He was out of play. He got up hustling back on defense. Not just getting back, but heads up getting back so that he know where the ball is and see what he can come up with.
Tap off to John Johnson. Sigma facing again. And Nat is there for the rebound. Blazers come down with a chance to tie it again. Trailing 58-56. It'll be the legend. And Jim Brewer taps it in.
Now Jack Sigma's getting that shut off whenever he wants to. And the main reason he's able to get that shot off is the guys that are guarding him are reacting to what he's doing, not making him or trying to take the initiative to make him react to the defense.
On the pass inside by J.J.
They get a new 24 seconds because that's a violation of kicking the ball.
No foul, violation into Shelton, who muscled for the hoop. And the champions go up by 2. Nat turns to the left, has to find Brewer because he's double teamed as the Sonics now become very conscious of Calvin Nat on the attack. And so Bates starts to pick up the slack. 8 points, 6 of them here in the third period. Now, Jim Brewer gives away several inches in height to Jack Sikma. So he has been using muscle to try to deny Sikma a shooting spot. Dennis Johnson, though, is on the money that time.
Take this, rookie.
Bates goes over to Brewer, and Ron Brewer's jumper is on the money. 13, and deadlocked again at 62. DJ gets in backdoor, and John Johnson. That's why he leads this team in assists.
Dennis worked the young fellow over that time. He changed pace on that move, on that particular play 3 times.
Gus got a hand on Bates' shot. One down in the corner. Brewer, Sonics are trapping the ball a lot, and Brewer hits for the jumper, and Gus, as he so frequently does, breaks for the basket. Brewer with a great block. It's 5 on 3. 2 Sonics are not back. Brewer misses, goes to the rebound, and there's a loose ball foul. It'll go up to the Sonics, who survive a 5 on 3. Something you very seldom see. Gus Williams going to the basket, and another guard rejecting it. Timeout in Portland. We're tied at 64. Hope you can find some time to be with us Sunday afternoon, because this year figures to be an awfully good one as far as the pro basketball playoffs are concerned. There has been increased interest. They go backdoor with the champions. Shelton gets the roll. So after a timeout, Bill Russell, they work the play to perfection.
That's because the defensive man was peeking. You know, he looked to see where the ball was and lost sight of his man. If you're going to lose sight, at least you have to keep physical contact with him, not put your hand on him, not necessarily to hold him.
John Johnson reaching in with the left hand, fouled Calvin Nat, and Nat will come up to the free throw line. For John Johnson, 2 personals. In fact, the only Sonic with 3 is Shelton. Over on the Blazers side, of course, Owens with 4, and Ron Brewer with 3. Ron bounces it into Calvin Nat. 14 fouls on the Sonics now, and only 1 against the Blazers. And Calvin Nat is putting on an impressive perimeter shooting display. Williams will come around Sikma. Brewer switches out. They go back to Jack, and the other Brewer's right there. Jack tries to post Ron, goes to the baseline. Too much spin, and Jim Brewer's off the Ron. Score is tied at 66. J.J. trying to stick with Nat, who presses the trigger again.
That's a tough shot to live or die by, I can tell you this. But if a guy believes in it, it works. For how long, you can't tell.
J.J. in the middle. Gus cuts around him to the left and comes into the glass with a beautiful move.
That's a little better percentage shot.
3:30 left in the third period here in Portland. Herbert Washington out high. J.J. trailing Nat. Jim Brewer will give it up to Ron. Using Jim for the screen, in and out, and J.J. rebounds, looks for the outlet. It's Gus, and in comes the Wizard. The Brew is right with him, and this time, Gus stopped, turned around Ron, and went up with the shot.
And he had Ron thinking, I wonder what he's going to do this time.
Nat is 10 of 15 from the floor. John Johnson off with a strong defensive rebound. Eyes the floor, and Bates with a quick defensive hand. Off now to Shelton. Shelton missing, and Bates is in the middle. Bates pressures the hoop for the Blazers. A beautiful from Washington. We are tied again. JJ from the left baseline is off. And Washington was there, and Shelton banged it to Nat, who gives it up now to Bates, and Ramsey watches the Blazers, who've got a chance to go ahead. Bates fouled as he began his assault on the hoop that time.
And Seattle is now in foul trouble, so that every foul now is free throw.
5 team fouls on the Sonics. Just one on the Blazers. With 2 minutes to go in the third now. 3 fouls on Dennis Johnson.
You know, Portland got back in this game. They had fallen behind by 6 or 7 rebounds, and now they're only 1 rebound behind. And I think Jim Brewer has made a significant contribution to that.
So in the shadow of Mount St. Helens here tonight, we have a mini explosion brewing. Tied at 70, the Blazers needing a win to send it to a decisive third game in the Kingdome on Sunday. We'll be there. Hope you managed to spend part of Easter Sunday with us. Well, I imagine the good basketball fans in Seattle will be ready. We'll have a crowd in excess of 25,000, I would imagine, for that one. Or the opener of the Milwaukee series. Long way to go. Last 2 minutes now of the third period, with the Blazers up on the strength of those 2 free throws. 10 points now for Bates. Here's Dennis. T.R. Dunn will try him. Dennis got him in the air, missed the shot. Underneath, and it goes over to the Blazers. John Johnson stocking Calvin Nat. Nat has probably seen the last of his daylight if the Sonics have anything to say about it. He has been sizzling. Coming up under pressure. He is still cooking. 24 now for the rookie. Johnson is on the money. 74-72. Blazers by 2 now. 20 for Dennis. And for Gus, he's cooled down a bit. 16 and 10 of the 16 way back in the first period. Bates jumps it back to Nat, who went in the air and wanted it. Hermit had a hand. Shelton with the rebound. Off to Tom Lagarde, who has checked in. Jack Sikma is out right now for Lenny Wilkins and the champions. Ramsey watches as Gus Williams of Seattle goes inside on his defense to Dennis. And DJ has now warmed for Lenny and Les Habacker, his assistant. Last shot time with the score tied in Portland. Bates at the buzzer fouls out. The end of 3 periods. And the fourth one should be a dandy. The NBA on CBS will continue after these messages from your local station. Bill, how about those rebounding totals? You made a big point up at the top of the broadcast.
If Portland can stay within three rebounds, Seattle, they got a good shot at this game tonight. Now, this is the last quarter. In a playoff game, this is probably the most exciting time. It is great to play in a game like this when you're going to the last quarter, and this separates the winners and the losers.
And Calvin Nat is coming across as a winner tonight, isn't he? Resting on the bench, the rookie from Northeast Louisiana. Somewhat unheralded, but no longer. Bobby Gross is out with John Johnson. T.R. Dunn goes with Dennis. Tom Lagarde is there, and Jim Brewer's on him. Lagarde wants Shelton in behind Kermit Washington. Missed the layup. Bobby Gross covers up. Tap now to Brewer. Brewer to Jim Brewer. Hit by Lagarde, and Jimmy has to run it down. T.R. Dunn on the bounce pass to Kermit Washington. Dennis Johnson in on Kermit.
3 seconds.
There's Shelton sliding in behind Kermit, but he simply missed the shot.
It went off in his hand. He didn't even know it was loaded.
DJ brings it up on T.R. Dunn. Shelton moves it to Gus, and they go back to Lagarde. Shot clock at 8 for the Sonics. Now 5, 4, 3. Lonnie Shelton, the fresh 24. Jim Brewer tied at 74. Kermit fronted by Shelton. 4 on the shot, 3 on the shot. Williams has got the ball loose at the angle for the layup, and the champions lead. Jack Ramsey will call a timeout and bring the Blazers over. 10 minutes and 32 seconds left.
Just great defense. The Sonics didn't give them a chance to do anything but throw the ball away.
Bill, perhaps a smokescreen by Lenny Wilkins. Pointing that out, it was publicized down here in Portland, but they really haven't gone to the press in here. They let the Blazers come clear up across the midcourt line. 10:25 to go. Sonics lead it by 2.
They haven't gone to the full court press, but they've gone to the half court press, playing tough on the ball and going to the middle.
And Brewer from the left corner.
Now, if Portland's going to make a run for it, this is going to be the best chance they have right now, because Lenny is trying to rest some of the guys, the power guys, and right now he does not have a power team in there.
Tom Lagarde off Lenny's bench uses the glass to put the champions ahead again, 78-76.
It's a good thing that's strong glass.
Brewer has to give it up, and Jim Brewer runs it down. A game full of Brewers and Johnsons. DJ is out on Ron Brewer. T.R. Dunn off with his shot. Shelton gives it up now to Dennis Johnson, and here comes Gus Williams. Sonics lead it by 2 and taking their time, and Tom Owens will come back soon with Calvin Knapp. Wally Walker goes in high, hit by Kermit Washington off Lonnie Shelton. And the Sonics get the call. Here's Paul Silas. So Ramsey and Wilkins hit their benches. DJ, and as he came up on Dunn, foul call against T.R. One of the matchups, Sigma with 17 points, Brewer off the bench with 8. But I think that the rebounding number, Bill, is more important here.
Yes, it's because they both, after the first quarter, been on the court. In fact, most of the time they've been on the court at different times.
Paul Silas played on a couple of championship teams with the Boston Celtics and one in Seattle. Coming down the baseline for that layup, and he contributes immediately coming off the bench. He has not forgot his role. Ron Brewer misfires, and Bobby Gross with an offensive rebound had it stuffed, and T.R. Dunn can't do it, but tops it in. That would be his first rebound of the game, and it could not have come at a more opportune time for Portland. 80-78 Sonics, 8:29 to go. Williams cuts inside. Offensive foul is called as he turned into Owens. So Gus tried to spin away from Brewer. Owens had taken up position, and a good foul call. Sigma is back heel work against Owens. They go to Calvin Knapp. Missed the shot. And a loose ball foul underneath. It's going to go now against the Blazers. And that would be number 5 on Owens. As you watch underneath, he came up over Gus Williams, and 5 personals now on Tom Owens. 8 minutes, 80-78, Sonics by 2. Owens half fronting Sigma. Sigma faces up. High rebound to Dunn, almost stolen by Silas. Tom Owens waits and now goes to TR. Wally Walker seals up baseline. And it's Ron Brewer off with the shot and Silas rebounds.
That's what I'm talking about, Brendan, that long shot, that 15 or 20-foot jumper. You've got to make it just a tremendously high percentage if you're going to stay in the game, if that's going to be your offense.
Freddie Brown took it back and negotiated. A nice shot off the glass. Sort of a rolling reverse hook shot. 7-13, 82-78. Sonics by 4. Silas will try Knapp. From the perimeter. Alvin missing now. And just as Bill Russell points out, the Blazers have missed their last 2 from the perimeter. Ron Brewer and Calvin Knapp.
And you very rarely will get an offensive rebound on that kind of shot.
Sigma moving it back to Walker. They shuffle to Freddie Brown. Downtown sends it back, and 2 on the shot clock, and Freddie from the baseline buries one, and Ramsey says, hold it, we've got to have a timeout.
As I told you, Brent, when the game is broken over, if it's broken open, it will be because of defense and rebounding. And Sonics have been really out-rebounding here, giving them only 1 shot.
And the NBA on CBS will continue after these messages from your local stations. We will be in the Kingdom. Lonnie Shelton and Kermit Washington pounding away, and Washington holding his own rebounding, trailing Shelton by 1. Now Paxson is back, and Billy Ray Bates is out there as Jack Ramsey tries a different combination. Paxson missing, Wally Walker lost it. Dennis went to the corner. 84-78. DJ brings it up. 6:09 for the game. And Bill Russell, this is a very critical point right now for the Blazers. The last combination did not work for Ramsey.
And I think that he still hasn't got a combination that's going to work for him. This combination he has here.
Brown almost burned it, didn't hit the shot.
Because Seattle has their beef lineup, I call it, because these guys can bang heads, and they're going to control the board with this lineup, and the Trailblazers are only going to get 1 shot if they get that much. And they're not running the plays very effectively. So if you're not going to run the plays, then you've got to run and gun. And this combination they have here can't really do either one of those.
Now, Jack Ramsey picked up on what Bill Russell was saying against the beef lineup. He just now took Gross out and reinserted Kermit Washington. And Washington is matched against the grand old man, Paul Silas. Owens half-fronting Sigma. They get it into him, and he just calmly faces up. He's short, and Paxson's off at the rebound. It's 84-78, Sonics by 6. Paxson penetrates, spins to the right hand, and doesn't get the roll. Brown's off at the rebound. Sigma sets up right to the lane on the strong side. They get to him, and now they go DJ baseline. 1-on-1 against Bates. Not there. Wally Walker not called for the foul, reaching over Calvin Natter, rebounds and gives it up now to Owens, and here's Bates. 4:30, and Bates quickly penetrates, misfires everything. Silas is off to Brown.
They are not getting good shots because right now they're neither fishing nor foul. They're not running plays, and they're not fast breaking. They're just going down and throwing it up. They only get 1 shot, and that's not a very good one.
Brown ducking his head, coming inside of Owens and Paxson, and the foul called on the rookie with Shelton and Ron Brewer returning. Shelton replaces Wally Walker, and Tom Owens has fouled out. I thought that it had gone against the youngster, but it did not. It was against Owens, who suffers a frustrating evening here in game 2, having fouled out. 6 points and 2 rebounds for the Blazer center. It is 84-78. Brown comes inside, spins on Jim Brewer, and a foul called against Jim.
And that's the 4th team foul on the Trailblazers. Now every other foul, now they're going to be shooting. And this is kind of early to get in foul trouble.
Which is exactly what plagued the Blazers in Seattle. The champions are in command. It is now their game to lose. They can dictate what will happen from here on in. Dennis Johnson has turned it over. Offensive foul, it'll go to the Blazers. They trail it by 6.
Now this time down is essential that the Trailblazers, if they're going to get back into this game, they're going to have to get a good shot. The last 4 or 5 times down, they have not gotten a good shot.
Bates with a runner, got the roll. 12 for Bates.
That went in, but it was not necessarily what you'd call a good shot.
Sigma faces Jim Brewer, and now for Sigma 19. Ron Brewer. With Sigma flashing out, Brewer hits 2 more. 19 for the second-year pro from Arkansas.
The rookie Billy Ray Bates set that up by faking like he's going to drive, and in addition off to the weak side.
The ball went into Sigma. Jim Brewer overplaying him has assessed the personal.
Now Sigma is taking him inside because with the guy smaller than him, it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Look at that picture, how Calvin Nat has sagged off into the middle in case anyone tries to slide back door. Timeout, foul on Jim Brewer. We'll be right back. Sigma is at the line for the defending NBA champion Seattle Supersonics. They lead it by 4, and what Jack Ramsey stressed while you were away is the fact that the Blazers still have a lot of time not to grow impatient. Trailing by those 5 points, Bates penetrates, and Sigma got a hand on it and stole the ball from him. Sigma now is off to Freddie Brown. So the man whom Jack Ramsey said was the key to the Seattle Supersonics, Jack Sigma, steals the ball as Bates comes inside, and now the champions set up to dictate the balance of this game. Shelton goes into Sigma behind his back, but Nat was there. Perhaps a bit too far in heavy traffic for a behind-the-backer. Now it is Calvin Nat who is sizzled offensively for the Blazers. Off to Ron Brewer, who skies the first jumper. That was a bad turnover down there at the other end. It's now back to 3. Back to Silas, who moves to DJ. Downtown. Loose, Lonnie Shelton, fresh 24.
Plays like that, when you trick them with a rebound, and they end up with another chance. Now you may get another foul and get someone in foul trouble. You got to come up
and putting it down. Brewer drew the offensive foul. Jim Brewer in position immediately bounced away and drew the charge. And Jim was silently talking to himself about having missed that rebound a moment ago. He comes right back and draws the turnover. And now the Blazers can draw to within a point. A very vital trip here for the Blazers, who must win to stay alive. Bates maneuvers, loses it, and a foul call as Dennis Johnson popped out. Lenny Wilkinson happy about this call. 5 fouls on Dennis Johnson.
I think Dennis is a little unhappy too.
The Blazers get the break, and the Sonics were not yet over the limit. Now they are at it. So Bill Russell pointed out earlier in this period that the Blazers reached the limit early and the Sonics did not, and here it pays a huge dividend. Blazers must set up a play, trailing it by 3. 1:29 left. Young Calvinat puts it on the floor, and the foul is called as he tried to hook around Paul Silas, and Silas grabbed him on the hip. Dunn replaces Bates as Ramsey switches to a man who is considered to be a little bit stronger defensively, but I imagine that Bates will stand ready. In fact, he does. He sits down on the floor because as soon as the Blazers get this ball back, Jack is going to try to get him right back in the game. A 2-point lead by the champions. Knapp makes it 1. At the sides, puts it back, and here's Gus into Sigma, faces up on Kermit, not there, and the Blazers can go ahead. "52 seconds, trailing by a point, 9 on the shot. They have turned it over. Brewer turned his dribble over as he came into the baseline. The illegal dribble, and Wilkins will quickly huddle up the champions. Watch. There he is carrying it, spinning it back down with his left hand, and the Sonics go over around Lenny Wilkins. We start the 5-minute overtime. Bill Russell, what's the foul situation?
Well, I think Dennis Johnson's the only one that's got foul trouble that's besides Owens having fouled out. But the overtime in a playoff game, that's when guys' voices change.
Calvinat sends it through Kermit Washington and back now to Jim Brewer, who must carry the load at center with Owens having fouled out. Here's tonight's star. Billy Ray Bates sends it back now to Ron Brewer. Jumpers off to the right. And it goes right to Jim Brewer.
Look what I found. I was just standing around doing nothing, and look what fell over my way.
Right off of Jack Sigma's hand. Blazers lead by 2 in overtime. Brewer muscling Sigma. Off with the shot. Shelton with a hand control now by Bates and the Blazers. And Bates streaks down the middle. Through the foul coming right in between two Sonics. Here he is breaking away, simply splitting the seams. Gus on one side, Freddie over there on the other, drawing the foul, and that is 3 on Williams. And here is Billy Ray Bates, who a few months ago was playing with the Maine Lumberjacks. And tonight he said to me, "No more road trips to Anchorage." And I believe he has seen his last road trip in the Continental League. He is here to stay. Sigma picks off Bates, and a foul call. Kermit was in on the other side.
Well, there's one thing about it, Brent. He knows how to run into a pick, and that was a moving pick.
But the third one goes against Bates, and downtown Freddie Brown. Knocked back by J.J., but right to Jim Brewer. Kermit was breaking free, and they didn't see him. Kermit, Washington had broken the length of the floor. Now Ron Brewer is shuffled. No whistle. Shelton was on him that time. A break for the Sonics. Bates penetrates again. Offensive foul. Offensive foul. Ramsey.
I think that was a bad call, Brent. He was open when he took off. Maybe we're going to get a chance to take another look at it and see if he's moving. Shelton's still moving. Yes, he had the opening when he took off.
3:29 left in overtime. Sigma goes inside to Shelton on the jump hook is short. The battle and Shelton controls. High arch. Swish for Shelton, and it's now 93-91, a 2-point lead by the Blazers. Knapp out with John Johnson, and foul called on J.J.
And now the coaches are getting a lot of exercise because they're jumping up and down on every play.
Jake O'Donnell warning Jack Ramsey to get back. Ramsey had come up with 3 minutes to go.
Now that play on Billy Ray Bates, that may have been a 5-point play or a 6-point play. And then took away 2 points, and the other team scored 2 points, and it might have gotten in foul trouble a little sooner.
Ron Brewer rises up. Seconds to go. Freddie misses from downtown. JJ goes back to Gus. Gus spins and it's turned over. Now here comes Bates. Brown is there. Bates waits for help. Brewer quickly now to Kermit Washington. Through the foul that missed the shot. Sigma hitting.
If Seattle don't have to get back in this game, they're going to have to take control. Portland is definitely in control of this game. They've got the tempo. And it's times like this that foul trouble is so important because I think the key player to Seattle's fortunes is Dennis Johnson. And he's because the foul trouble is not in there. But this game is a long way from open. But it's not over. I can tell you that.
And 16 seconds to go. Timeout. I don't believe I've heard this much noise in Portland since they won the championship, and we'll have more of the same Sunday. Atlanta, Philadelphia will kick off our doubleheader coverage. Then we will cover the decisive game, Kansas City, Phoenix, and we'll be in Seattle for what could be the showdown game, Portland and the Sonics. It is now 96-91, the Blazers. And they add to it. Kermit Washington. They go up by 6 and 2-10. John Johnson's free. Nat Gamble. And Kermit rejects it. That is open. It's 3-on-1 Bates. Dennis Johnson quickly at the other end. Rejected by the Blazers. Kermit Washington came spying that time.
The Blazers are up a little bit.
Inbounds pass goes to Dennis. Whistle, and he was fouled by Kermit Washington, who reached around him.
That's their first foul of the last 2 minutes, so that...
And would you believe that's the first foul on Kermit Washington in this game? He has pounded away all night and avoided the fouls. In and out by Williams. Out of bounds, it will go and stay with the Sonics.
And this is the time of the year that coaches grow old very, very rapidly.
Sonics down by 8, now 6 as Dennis Johnson goes to the corner. 1:39. Pressure. And Jim Brewer across Sigma. Ron Brewer pressures the basket. Three-pointer. Short. Dennis runs it down off his hands and out of bounds. It'll go over to the Blazers.
It may have been a bit early to start going for the three-point plays. I think time I guess you try to get a 3 points inside where you can try to make the the basket with the free throw rather than shooting the three-pointer.
Bates comes the length of the floor. Quickly to Dennis at 107. He crashes in. Offensive foul is called. The buzzer is sounding as the scores table
on Dennis Johnson.
pointed out that Dennis Johnson had fouled out of the game. And Dennis is out. Dennis Johnson out of the game now with 24 points. In overtime, that young man right there, Bates, 2 field goals and 2 free throws. 6 on the shot clock. Bates comes up on Sigma. Yanked down by Shelton. Off to Gus Williams. Williams goes to Freddie Brown. Three-pointer is off, and it's Kenneth Washington. 35 seconds, and the Blazers have stayed alive. Brewer inside. A little frosting. It's 105-93. It'll be Portland, Seattle from the Kingdome on Sunday. Another three-pointer. Knocked away from Shelton as Brewer came up over the top. The Sonics will take the ball out of bounds with 6 seconds.
I'm tired watching this.
Basket by Lonnie Shelton and make the final 105-95. The basket counts. It was 105-95, and Lenny Wilkins and the defending champions Seattle Supersonics head off. And there's the man who launched the shot that tied it up in regulation time, then sent it into overtime. He added 6 more points in overtime, giving Billy Ray Bates a total of 20, and the Portland Trail Blazers stay alive 105-95.